So this guy Murray Hill guy, he just launched a new podcast the other day, and his first episode is on what is a beautiful mid. So I figured I actually listened to it basically the day it came out and thought it was a really good. It's like 15 minutes. Thought it was a really good representation of what a lot of guys struggle with in terms of dating is basically dating girls who don't like them. And so I'm not going to summarize his podcast here, but you can watch it if you want to. He basically is saying that, there's the stereotypical hot girl that's like, say, a model cover girl. And, everyone thinks, oh, I want that girl. But what really is the kind of girl that you want is the beautiful mid, or the girl that essentially thinks you're the best thing that's ever happened to her. And so I put a little summary on here and kind of some elaboration from my perspectives on this theory, because it's not just a theory, it's more of like a lifestyle, and it's more of a way of approaching the sexual marketplace and getting what you want out of stuff. So mids who think you're beautiful are greater than, because the only thing that matters for a sustainable and mutually beneficial relationship is how interested the girl is in the guy, unless the guy's her workhorse provider tool who she's using for resources. If she isn't, and we'll touch on that in a second. If she isn't high interest, it's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. Inefficient markets will always correct. And by all means, continue to smash the lower interest, hotter girls who come around, because why not? But there's no point shooting shots, or there's no point in not shooting shots on as many woods, mid or hot, who make themselves open for business. Like, let's say they matched you on a dating app, or she stands beside you at some social event or something. Like, why not open her? Why not communicate with her? Because numbers game. But the important thing to recognize is the only sustainable strategy is liking the girls who genuinely like you too. And the beautiful mids are much more likely to feel genuine primal desire for you than the stereotypically hot magazine cover looking girl. These kinds of girls usually didn't have to develop a depth of personality to get by in life, because they were pedestalized by society for as long as they can remember, just for existing. They didn't have to earn anything, and people who don't have to earn things usually end up being not so great people to build relationships with. They also aren't likely to be genuinely interested in a beneficial way. And really, any guy, no matter who he is, that's why you see a lot of these top tier, A-list celebrities getting divorced, because this pedestalization makes them develop grandiose narcissism, which is why there's a point where if a girl is too hot, then you'll feel somewhat empty spending relationship time with her, because all she's thinking about is herself. And she's also just not interested in you because she thinks so highly of herself because of this grandiose narcissism that wasn't born with her. It was developed by being pedestalized for essentially just existing. She's not interested in you. She's not able to kind of emotionally evolve in a relationship. So all that to say is, like the girls who like you. We smash the lower interest, hotter on paper girls. But again, that's going to be the minority. That's going to be, 10 to 20 to 30% max probably of the girls. The majority, you're going to make your living in the mid range. And that is basically all there is to it. I mean, look at Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, mid-range shooters. They're not just shoot. I mean, they can still shoot threes every now and then, but they made their living in the mid-range. So that's kind of about the beautiful mids, and Murray Hill guy kind of coined that term, the beautiful mid. So let's kind of move on here, like we talked about. So I think this is a good segue from the beautiful mid stuff, because let's say practical stuff here. So this girl is talking about, I tried setting up my friends and he's fumbling so hard, make a plan, SMH. And she basically says, this is so shameful, OMG, LMFAO, what's she telling you? That she's turned off by her inability to make a plan. It's literally not that hard, make a effing plan. So let's say you have one of these beautiful mids or whatever, hot girl, doesn't matter. She's raised her hand. She said, I'm open for business. Essentially, you're assuming interest and all that. Any plan is better than no plan, besides taking her out to dinner before smashing, which we'll talk about in a second. If she's messaging you or within talking distance at social event, bar, whatever, it's best to assume she's interested until proven otherwise. Girls generally don't stand in the vicinity of guys that they think look creepy. So if she doesn't think you look creepy, that probably means she thinks you look relatively good enough to speak with her, and she'd be open for business. When you get interested leads for your business, do you dilly-dally and not reach out to set an appointment? No. They've shown interest, so you harass them until they, like Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street says, buy or die. So that's what you do. There's no dilly-dallying. There's no like doing this stuff. I mean, the fact that this guy is even messaging a girl about a girl, I mean, of course he's trying to, she's trying to set her friend up and stuff, and they have mutual friends, but just the fact that he's, even making himself available to be screenshotted in the first place, that is what's really shameful for him. I mean, the fact that he got her number and what's he doing? Getting to know her over text or something that literally doesn't exist. That's a form of mental illness, is getting to know somebody over text like that you have like romantic sexual interest in. That's not normal. That is, I mean, think about 100 years ago, you're being pen pals, but you live right across. Like, why are you being pen pals? So that's that. Any plan is better than no plan. When you get those girls that are supposed to have genuine interest in you. Kind of lastly, talking about the dinner thing. So this guy is saying, disturbingly large number of men are absolutely terrified by the idea of paying for dinner when on a date with a woman. I'm not entirely sure what the fix is for this. I'm not even sure that I understand what they're afraid of. Waitstaff, women making a decision. I kind of classify this post as a little bit of what do they call it? Kind of a straw man, or maybe red herring. I don't know. One of those kind of things where he's basically, it's not that men are absolutely terrified of the idea of paying for dinner. It's more like you just shouldn't go on dinner to begin with until she's essentially smashed multiple times. So like I say here, there's nothing wrong with paying for dinner when on a date with a woman. And a guy that's truly afraid of that is like, why? I mean, it's like $100, $50 to go on a dinner date. Like, yeah, if we'll go on to that in a second. So even though women who actually like you will pay for dinner dates with you, like this last night, she said, do I want dinner? And she brought me dinner. So when she was coming over my apartment. So moving on, there's no point going on a dinner date with a woman before smashing multiple times. You have no idea if you like each other or what the sex is like, but you're going to stuff your face in front of her while chatting with total strangers. You're total strangers you never met before, and you're stuffing your face, sitting across from each other. It's like way too formal. So the idea is you smash first, then if you insist on going out to dinner and she's cool, why not? Who's stopping you? I've enjoyed going on dinner dates before, get tapas, have a nice, sangria wine, nice drinks, nice, go to nice dinner, and then go to a cool speakeasy that's kind of hidden and stuff. Like, those can be fun, but I'm only doing that after smashing. I'm not going out to audition while I'm eating dinner. Like, eating is a very relaxing thing for me. Like, it's like, I'm not getting to know you while I'm eating. That's ridiculous. And, it should never feel like you're being extorted to take a woman out to dinner before you've even smashed. We've all run into girls where they're like, oh, I'm not coming over, but you can take me to dinner. Yeah, that's not happening. That's just a foodie call, and you're better off hiring a hooker at that point. Unpopular opinion, I've never done it, but we can understand things that make sense without actually doing them. You're much better off. Just, guaranteed bet versus, it's like if you're doing a sports book, you have a no sweat bet, or not even a no sweat bet. You have a free roll. You have a bonus bet. They're giving you bonus bets that, you're basically guaranteed to win. Are you going to take that bet, or are you going to take the gamble, the plus 400 gamble? Because that's what going to dinner is. It's just, you're just gambling and you're wasting your time. And odds are the girl's going to be worth it. There's another one about public dates. Guys think going on a date with a baddie's a flex. No, it's not. The only true flex is that you make her quiver with anticipation and bust inside of her. Everything else is noise. This is true. Anyone can go on public dates with hot girls. That's not hard. Anybody can do that. I could do that today if I wanted to, because it's an irresistible offer to what benefits her more. It's free non-sexual attention, validation, drinks, food, plus she has the safety of strangers being around. It's not hard. And who else goes on public dates with her is her gay best friends. So the only thing that really matters if she wants to smash you, and she does at the end of the day, Everything else is either not beneficial, not necessary, or cope for the fact that she's basically just in agenda mode and she wants somebody that's going to provide for her. And we all know this is 101, but if a girl is in that kind of mode, then the second that you can provide this, she's going to want this. And then, when she wants this and realizes there's a gap because it's never enough, just like people that, want material things, it's never enough. If that's what your motivation is, then you're not going to be happy essentially. And if that's what you're focused on, then it's the wrong reason to be in a relationship. At that point, she should just be a sugar baby. She shouldn't be trying to date. So it's not hard to go on public dates. Reframe that in your brain. Public dates benefit women much more than they benefit you. And kind of lastly on this dates talk, I'm not going to, you can follow this on my X page if you want, but basically this girl says taking leftovers on your first date is a red flag. And I put a quote here of her saying, that's something to do for me, like financially. When you take leftovers, it's when you're like in a relationship. As a first date, you just eat whatever you want. And if there's leftovers, you can leave them there and then you can go your separate ways. On a podcast called Help Me, I'm Single. And there's a problem here. And the problem is being single, correct? Literally, help me, I'm single. Dinner for a first date isn't going to solve that problem. Maybe for a woman in agenda mode, sure. It's going to solve her problem of looking for somebody to essentially adopt her or somebody to take care of her and somebody that she can walk all over. But for the man, it's only going to create more problems, like not getting you laid. The entire point of male-female relationships is smashing. Literally everything else is a charade. And even the girl here, right here, is saying, you can go your separate ways. So you see how women view food dates. She's eating food, then she's going her separate way. She's not even thinking about smashing after them. She literally just said to not take your leftovers and go your separate ways because public dinner dates aren't associated with having sex, when sex is the number one important thing of sustainable relationships, is that attraction and that kind of being close in looks, but you being perceived as way above her by her in looks and kind of sexual attraction and arousal. So the second you agree to, like we talked about earlier, pay for one of these auditions, you're basically telling her you're okay with not smashing afterward. And of course, there are exceptions to this rule, like we all have, who have run volume. And depending on who the girl is, how well you run the interaction, the logistics, like how far away you live. But generally speaking, the nature of public meetings is you aren't smashing after. Again, your skill is high enough, you have good enough logistics, and going back to the bet analogy, you can still win a plus 300 or plus 400 parlay. You're going to win a plus 300 parlay. You're expected to 25% of the time. So it's not saying that you can never smash after. It's just knowing whose home court is where. And public is clearly the woman's home court. So it is a balancing act in terms of, practically speaking. If you have hundreds of, X amount of leads, 100 leads, what percentage of them are going to come straight over? What percentage would never do that because it's just not in their nature to do that? What percentage will meet out? But then what percentage of those that would meet out would actually just be a time waster, because a lot more of those are expected to be time wasters than girls who come straight over that are way more likely to be genuinely interested in you as a person and not what you can just provide for them. Story about that is actually my girl right now, her friend, one of her friends that she hasn't seen in a while, but she was showing me her text with her when she was first getting to meet me for the first time, when she was coming straight over to my place. And the friend was like, "Oh, you're just going straight over to play chess? Why is he not taking you to dinner? Why is he not, is he cheap?" She literally said those words, like, it seems cheap, but my girl doesn't think like that because she's higher honesty, humility. Getting to know her, read the H Factor of Personality book. She isn't focused on kind of an agenda mode mercenary. Is he cheap? Is he not? Because that's the wrong way of approaching it. That's how women who view men as pure tools and don't want to have sex and aren't sexual beings view men. So for women, when you're a sexual being and you want a sexual woman, she doesn't really care about those kind of things about meeting in public and, oh, is he cheap? Oh, is he not cheap? Because she likes you for you. So, and BTW, if you're going to go your separate ways, why the hell not take the leftovers? That's the kind of elephant in the room here. You're going your separate ways. Who cares? She's not even interested in him, right? So who cares? The logic works against itself. It's not like you're going to smash your separate ways, right? It's not like you're going anywhere else. You're leaving, you're going home, right? Who cares? Take the leftovers. We're not here to impress you. And this is how time-wasting agenda mode mercenaries view men who take them out to impress them on dates, or the women that view men who don't do these auditions and these kind of traditional courting things. That's how they view them as, you know, as cheap if they don't do that. But my question to you is, do you really want to entertain that kind of woman? And that's up for you to decide. It's up for you to accept what you're willing to accept and then live with the consequences, rewards, or whatever it is of what you're willing to tolerate. My view on that is women who expect food on a first date are just going to waste your time, and they're just going to be a pain in the ass on average. You can still get lucky. You can still win plus 400 bets, but it's not something that I'm willing to gamble on. So that's the video here. I will, leave a link to my X in the description as always. If you want to work with me, also links to those are in the description. I'll be posting some new strategies on my dating app, kind of, ways of approaching it and different kind of push pull, levers you can push and levers you can, move, or kind of a hint, not pull to get women to chase you more. But yeah, with that being said, leave a like if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.